He was 15. He was a football player. He was my baby. He was a smart kid. When he was little, he was very smart. Made good grades. Loved his brother. He's got a big brother. He was just an awesome kid. We had a lot of fun. And I don't know, just like regular kids, he had an imagination, could play with his toys for hours, would dress himself up, superhero, whatever. He was a great kid. I used to call Connor my golden child. He would tell me, "I'm not your golden child, Mom." But he was. I mean, he thought so much like me. And I always thought that he would make the right decision. We were a lot alike. We thought a lot alike. We done things a lot alike. I just thought he would be okay. I guess you take that for granted that, he would always make good choices. Both my boys, Mama's boys, But the teenage years are always rough. We butted heads a lot more. He started hanging out with a group of friends, and we had several conversations about it. I even went as far as I didn't want to be the parent that said, "You can't hang out with these kids," but at one point I did. And I kind of used the birds of a feather flock together. My kids have both heard me say that so many times. You are who your friends are. He hung out with some kids that I knew wasn't going down the right path. And I was really concerned about that. And he liked to say, you have to trust me, Mom. You have to trust me. And ultimately I did. So I think that hurts a little bit more, that I trusted him, and like I wanted him to. He was growing up, and you want to always think that you've taught your kids the right thing, I guess. But ultimately, sometimes they're going to follow the crowd, no matter how smart they are or how much you've taught them. They just follow the crowd. I look back and I see that where there was certain instances where he was probably on something, I did question him one time. And because I talked to him a lot about it, just from other people around, so to say, having addiction problems or doing this or that. And I did have a discussion with him, like, if you ever, come talk to me about it. But, I let him know one day that I'll put you in rehab, or, if we ever go down that route. Maybe that wasn't the smartest thing to say to him, but, as a parent, you just do the best you can. And I don't feel like he was a drug addict. I don't feel like he was an addict. I feel like he was barely getting started, and this happened. He hung out with his brother a lot. Like his brother told me after the fact, of course, he was like, he wasn't, I told him I would kick his butt, basically, if I found out he was doing any of that stupid stuff, His brother went down a path and was my wild child. And so Connor got to see a lot of that. When his brother was doing stuff he wasn't supposed to do, Connor would come tell me. He was mad. He was angry. So for him to just follow as a mom, it tore me apart. You see your kids doing things they're not supposed to do, and it hurts. It sucks. And Connor knew it, and it's horrible. He took a fentanyl pill. He thought it was the M30s or whatever those perks. That's what he thought he was. That's what he thought he was getting. And to be honest with you, he died in 2021, and I didn't even know about fentanyl. I mean, I knew that, of course, I knew anything. I had the discussion with my older son. Anything you're getting off the streets is not going to be real. But I didn't know this. We had an issue with the keys. He had lost his house keys, so I left him mine. Called my older son. He was like, "He's probably asleep, Mom." He wouldn't answer the phone. Went and picked up my older son, took him to the store. And I just had this feeling come over me. I contacted his girlfriend and I asked her if she had talked to him. And she said, not in hours. And that's when I told my older son, "Let's go right now." Like I knew that, I just knew. And I had tried to get in the window already, and I couldn't get in, and I was fixing to call the police. I was in just a panic. And my son got it open. And I told him to go open the front door and do not go in his room without me. Because I knew something was wrong. I wish now that I wouldn't have let him go at all. I mean, I probably couldn't have stopped him at that point. But I mean, that's something he has to live with for the rest of his life, is seeing his brother. I went into shock. I just shut down. I couldn't get my son out of his room, my older son. But the 911 operator wanted us to do CPR. And I was trying to explain to her that you can't do CPR. But my older son was trying to do it anyway. And it actually makes me really angry now, because he could have had that contact, my older son. I could have lost both my kids. Everything that I've read and seen, and now to know that, what if my other son would have got that on him from doing the CPR? There was this one man, I don't even know his name, but he was great, and I told him I couldn't watch them take him out, and he made sure I didn't. I actually went down the block. The guy told me I should do that. And I appreciate that. Yeah. They did take him to Lubbock for an autopsy. I'm assuming because of his age and toxicology report. And it's still an open investigation for whatever reason. It's been over 2 years. I haven't really heard from the detective, which is disappointing. I have called. I don't even have Connor's phone back. I had to go sit in the lobby for a good while to get his necklace back because he wore that chain every day. I wasn't gonna leave it up there, but they wouldn't give me his phone. But because it's an open investigation, I really didn't get a lot of, I don't know. I see a lot of other parents in groups say he had this level or this amount, or I don't know any of that because they just, basically the lady at the medical examiner's office, I called and she said, "What do you want to know? He died from fentanyl. What else do you need to know?" Is exactly her words. I think the message would be, don't think it's not my child. I said it's not my child, you know? I think people think that their kids are popular and in sports and have all this going for them that, my child wouldn't do that. I can honestly say I thought that too, but at the end of the day, we just have to keep talking to our kids and don't think it won't happen to your child. Because I did. I thought that. I never thought this would be my life. So, that's a pretty important message.